I think the biggest concern out of this whole injury from the moment I found out, hey, your ACL is torn, was, okay, I'm going to get healthy, but am I going to be the same player I once was? Am I going to be the same athlete I once was? Will I be as fast, as strong? Will I jump as high? And the problem with it was they were all answers that I couldn't answer on the spot. I think I should have just spent more time concerned of what's my everyday rehab going to look like, and just continue to press away at, if I just take care of the things at hand, I'll be the same baseball player, I'll be the same.
Welcome back to K2 Dojo channel. Today we are back at the DOJO Cafe featuring Matt Kroon. Matt is a professional baseball player for the Phillies organization. Then actually I've known Matt since when he was very little because I used to treat his dad, Matt Kroon. His dad, Mark, was a baseball legend in Japan. So today we're gonna talk about Matt's baseball life. Also, like this year, I spent the last 8 months with him for his ACL rehab. So we're gonna go over that. So before that, Matt, would you mind telling us about yourself?
No, absolutely. And first off, thank you for having me. Like you said, we've known each other for a long time. But now we've gotten to know each other different as I've actually gotten to work with you and rehab with you. But yeah, I'm a baseball player. Been a baseball player my whole life with the Philadelphia Phillies. Trying to make it to the big leagues and doing everything I can every day.
I love that. So before going to your actual ACL rehab, journey, let's talk about your baseball pathway. So would you mind take us through that, your baseball pathway, career pathway from high school, college, and professional?
Yeah, so it started young. Like you said, my dad played baseball. So I got to watch him and I got to figure out from an early age that I wanted to play baseball and I wanted to do it long term.
How old were you at that time?
I would say I was about 8 years old.
8 years old.
I would say this is when my dad was in the big leagues with the Colorado Rockies, that it really opened my eyes to what the profession could bring for me and for a family. And nonetheless, I love the game. I love being at the ballpark. I love the everyday activities. So, like with that being said, from an early age, I did everything, every step along the way to play professional baseball. And that really started in high school for me. I had a great high school coach, Coach Eric Kibler. He coached at Horizon High School where I went to school for, he was there when my mom went to high school at Horizon High School.
Wow. So history right there, yeah.
But he taught me a lot about the game. He taught me a lot of the basics, what to expect, especially if you wanted to do this for more than fun. And so I was very grateful for him. And then from there, after playing 3.5, 4 years of varsity baseball there, I went on to University of Oregon. But that was after I was actually drafted out of high school by the Cincinnati Reds. That came late. That was the 38th round of the 2015 draft. And then from there, went to Oregon, played my freshman year, a little bit of a rough year. That was probably my first real sign of adversity.
Okay.
Growing up, I had always been one of the better players. I had always found the game to be easy. And that I would say middle school, high school, just kind of came natural. But then when I got to that Division I level, everybody kind of equaled out on the playing field. Everybody had the same amount of talent, if not better talent. And that's why they were there. And so I didn't perform well. My freshman year of college was a big disappointment for sure. With that being said, I decided to go back my sophomore year. Things didn't work out. It wasn't going to happen. So I decided to transfer. I came to Central Arizona. And at Central Arizona, I had a great time. It was baseball again. It brought the fun back into the game for me. It showed me again why I played this game and what I was trying to do. And my biggest goal through going to JUCO was, I'm not a school person. I want to play baseball and I want to do it professionally. And JUCO gave me the quickest route. Unfortunately, I didn't end up signing out of JUCO. I had the opportunity to when I was drafted by the Phillies in the 30th round. But I had a really good opportunity to go to Oklahoma State in front of me. Josh Holliday, the head coach out there, Matt Holliday's brother, long-term Major League Baseball player, gonna be a Hall of Famer. But another person that really brought me in, taught me, this is if you want to go play professional baseball, this is what you need to do. This is how seriously you need to take this. And I did, and things for once in college finally panned out, and I ended up getting drafted, signed to the Phillies, and been with them since 2018. And I've been very blessed. They've given me every opportunity, and I'm just going to keep going until they tell me I can't.
Wow, that's quite a career pathway right there, and so many people along the way guided you, to get to where you are.
Oh, a lot of people.
Yeah,
a lot of people.
What about, so during your baseball, pathway, did you have anybody as a role model or like baseball idol or mentors,
My two life role models would be my mom and my dad. From a baseball aspect, would definitely be my dad. He showed me why I love this game every day. I got to watch him play as a kid, and that's what I wanted to do. And so I always wanted to be like my dad. And hopefully I can get there. Hopefully I can do the things that he's done and put myself in the situation that he's put our family in. And then on the flip side of that, my mom has been my off the field role model, my life role model. From making sure things get done in the classroom to just your everyday, how do I pay taxes? That's mom.
I see.
That's who I go to, and so I'm very thankful for both my parents. They've shown me a lot of things in life, and they've given me a really good life. So I'm very thankful for those two. But other than my parents, an idol in the game, I would say Derek Jeter. I was a shortstop growing up. I was an infielder growing up, and he always did it the right way. He played hard. He played every day, and you could always, when you watched Derek Jeter play, you knew what you were going to get. And I just admired. I admired how hard he played and just how great he was.
That's awesome. I love that. So now let's talk about your rehabilitation, process and experience that we spent last 8 months, together. And briefly, I'm gonna explain about your injury just a little bit. Matt and I met, again, and started working closely after he got injured for the ACL tear and having surgery. So then last 8 months, we've been spending lots of time, every week, not every day, if not, so that kind of stuff. So, but before talking about ACL injury rehabilitation process, let me ask you this: have you had any past injuries, experience before that?
So, my injury experience is a little different. I actually grew up relatively healthy. All of high school, I really didn't deal with too many injuries. I fractured my wrist during a fall time where we weren't playing any baseball, and I had enough time to get ready for a season. So that really wasn't that big of a deal to me. And then I move on to college. Freshman year, I separate my shoulder, my left shoulder. But yet again, didn't miss any baseball time. And then from there, deal with minor stuff once I got into minor leagues, a little bit of a knee issue, nothing serious, missed 2 or 3 weeks. And then 2021 came around. This was after the COVID season. We didn't play all year because of the coronavirus. So then flash forward, we're 7 games in. I'm in AA. We were playing against one of the Orioles teams, and I ran into the first baseman trying to get down the first base line. And I actually got airborne, did a front flip, and I separated my AC joint. I completely tore my AC joint in my right shoulder. And so right after that, I missed half the year. No surgery, but that was my first, you're gonna sit down and not play. And that was the first really hard injury that I went through. But then I ended up coming back, played half the year, played fine. Going into this year, my only goal was to stay healthy. And on the second day of the year, I decided that I was going to separate my ACL, tear my ACL.
It's unfortunate.
And so
how did that happen?
So I was stealing second base. Actually, I hadn't gotten a hit all season. This is the second game of the year. Went 0 for 4 on opening night. Second game of the year, walk in my first at-bat, take off to steal second base, and sliding into second base, as soon as I made contact with the base, I felt something pop, twist, and right away I knew it couldn't be good. And I just stayed on the ground for a couple minutes. Tried to get up, went back down. Next thing I knew, the trainers were out there helping me get off the field. The initial reaction was tough. It was tough because we didn't.
You knew something serious that time.
I knew something serious was going on, but I don't think anybody else really knew because apparently the way I had fallen after talking to teammates about the injury in the moment, it had looked like I had grabbed my ankle. And so everybody thought when I left the field it was an ankle issue.
Yeah, right.
Lo and behold, I'm sitting on the table and nobody has x-ray vision, so we're all trying to figure out what's going on. But deep down, I just know it's not good.
Gotcha.
It's not good. I could hardly bend my knee. It was swelling. It was bad.
Gotcha.
But the team there was awesome. They made sure that I got every medical attention that I needed, and they made sure I got it quick. We knew within a couple days what the actual injury was. And even though we were hoping it wasn't on my ACL, we were hoping it might have been a meniscus or maybe just a slight tweak. We got the worst news, and from that point forward, we just put our head down, we started working, we figured out what do we have to do to get back on the field.
What were you going through in your head once you got your diagnosis confirmed, ACL tear, which is, just beginning of the season this happened, not meaning season-ending injuries, then long rehab ahead of you. What was going through in your head that time?
I think this was a little bit different from the shoulder separation because with the shoulder separation that I faced in 21, I saw myself getting back on the field. I saw that, okay, this is gonna take me 8 to 10 weeks and then I'm gonna play again. There was the end in sight. And then with this injury, it was like immediately I know, okay, my season is over. You don't come back from an ACL in less than 9 to 12 months, whatever it is. And so I knew right away, as soon as they told me, okay, I have to start preparing for next year. And I think that made it an easier pill to swallow than me trying to rush and cut a week off when I separated my shoulder in 21, trying to cut a week off the back end of that rehab so I could get back out on the field earlier.
Gotcha.
But in this case, I knew, okay, the season's over. Let's make sure we handle this properly.
I see. Taking the right step at the right time.
There was, kind of like there's nothing we can't go back in time and untear the ACL. So how can we move forward?
So sounds like relatively quickly, you are able to move on to bring the perspective to the future instead of just why did that happen.
Absolutely, and I definitely think the injury in 21 made it easier because I had been there before. Like I said, that injury, that shoulder separation, was the first one that had actually kept me out of play, kept me out of competition, and so I think that small window, that time frame that I dealt with that. Made this one just a little bit easier, despite knowing, okay, you're not going to play again this year. I think just knowing I've been here before and I've seen how I've been able to come back was motivation.
I see, gotcha. That's awesome. So Matt, going back to those days, you got injured. Now you realize you need surgery. What was the biggest concerns moving into that process that time?
I think the biggest concern out of this whole injury from the moment I found out, hey, your ACL's torn, was, okay, I'm gonna get healthy, but am I gonna be the same player I once was? Am I gonna be the same athlete I once was? Will I be as fast, as strong? Will I jump as high? And the problem with it was they were all answers that I couldn't answer on the spot. I think I should have just spent more time concerned of what's my everyday rehab gonna look like, and just continue to press away at, if I just take care of the things at hand, I'll be the same baseball player, I'll be the same. Because at the end of the day, I'm not the first person that's had an ACL injury that's returned to sport, and I won't be the last. But the truth of the matter is, if you just focus on the baby steps, if you focus on one thing at a time, you will get back to the athlete you once were. And that's where I'm at. Right now I feel good, and there's still some questions on will I be that same athlete? But the fact of the matter is we won't actually know until I go on that field, until I give it time to find my rhythm again. And so I think it would be unnecessary to sit here and doubt yourself, or anybody who's hurt with an ACL or any injury for that matter, and try and determine what it's going to look like when you come back before you're ready, because nobody's going to be able to tell you.
That's right. Definitely, like, thinking about the ultimate goals, outcome is important thing. But at the same time, when you're at a specific phase of the rehabilitation, you can just keep thinking about that. But
Absolutely.
Definitely you're gonna project toward it, but you need to kind of embrace and own that specific steps to go to those baby steps you mentioned.
Exactly. Definitely strive to get back to the player that you were, and that be better. You want to strive to be better than that player that you were. But the fact of the matter is, if you're in your rehab and you're doing your exercises and that's all you're concerned about, you're probably missing 3 or 4 important steps where you're at, and you're not going to get to this one. So as much as we want to think like, hey, I just want to be that player I once was, there are a lot of things that we have to take care of before we'll be able to get back to that. And we just can't get distracted.
I like that. Focused on what you're doing.
Always focused.
Yeah, control what you can control. I like
The
that.
controllables.
Then you had the surgery, then start doing a rehab. Initial rehab can be kind of monotonous in a way. What you need to do is kind of set, but so important, but not necessarily fun to do.
Not fun.
Yeah,
but
how
actually,
did you get through that? Yeah.
before the surgery, we had to do the
Rehab.
prehab.
Yes.